Yeah, so it's a love month, but I know that so many of us are going to watch this episode on different months of this year. But again, I believe that every day is a love day. It just doesn't have to be one day or one month where people celebrate love. We literally celebrate love every day. But as we celebrate love, there is a lot of heartbreaks as well. There is a lot of harm and hurting that is happening out there, and all because of love. We love it so much, we get into it, we risk getting into it, but sometimes we can never know the hearts of other people, how they were brought up, and who exactly they are. Not until the bad signs start showing up. And even when the bad signs starts showing up, so many of us have hope. And I think, Tim, you usually say that that hope is God-given to be able to maintain relationships and marriages. Otherwise, everyone would opt to be out of some of these things because of lack of patience. But because of that patience, some people are more patient and they tolerate, and then some people are blinded by love to not see what the bad actions or the red flags are. So today we want to be able to talk about narcissistic relationships, the signs, the telltale signs, how to identify the red flags when it's still early, before you even go into, marriage or something like that. But you can tell early on that this is a narcissistic person, and so that you don't prolong your own sorrow and your own harm.
I was having a conversation with a young man recently where I was trying to throw light on emotions. And I said the best part of humanity is that we are emotional.
Yeah.
I think that's what differentiates us from
Animals. Yeah.
That you can feel for another, and you can cry, and you can
fail
build
to let go.
expectations, and you can love and hold on to someone.
Yeah.
You can feel hurt, emotionally. And that's a special one. It's a beautiful one. But again, I keep telling people that the signs that it will not work, the signs that it's a waste of time,
always
the
there.
signs, or what people usually call the red flags, are always before us. We just choose otherwise. You will know what will work and what will not work. Even the best player, even the best liar, even you will be able to catch them at a certain point and know that because the thing about being smart is one thing, but being you is another. And at a certain point, the real you comes out when you back unexpectedly, as in, and you're like, so when you see some of these, most especially if you're still in a relationship, don't take it lightly. Don't just
push it under the carpet.
It's time to be real. I remember one of my pastors during counseling, mostly for marrieds, he used to do something. He would say, during this period of dating, do something that will piss that guy off or that woman off and see how she reacts. Do something bad that you know will get her true or his true colors out.
You want to see how far they can go.
Do it on purpose. Olabe akuba. Will threaten okukyawa. Insult you. Nebirala. And a few tried, by the way, it worked. And then every time they would come back for counseling, you would tell them what you have seen him do. When you get married, it will worsen.
Yeah, it will multiply.
Yes, it will be 3 times or 4 times worse than what you have seen.
Will you handle?
Will you be able to handle? And that magic question is what would bring tears, because now the emotional you, who's built expectations, who loves this person, you see yourself the mother of his children.
I know.
You see yourself the father of your children.
You're like, finally,
and you feel like letting this woman go is like she's just they're plucking my heart out and just piercing my heart and cutting a knife through my heart, killing me. I feel like I'm dying. That's being human, and it's a beautiful thing. But as I said, better now,
than later.
Deal with that pain. That's a smaller. It's manageable, because right now you're dealing with your pain. 5 years later, you'll be dealing with your pain, the pain of your children, the pain of your people, the pain of her people, the pain of friends, the pain of so many people.
It will be too much.
So it will be worse pain. You know when you put you shelf your pain and you deal with other people's pain?
I know.
And that's how people end up in a depression. So please, when you see the signs, don't take it for granted. Maybe God is speaking.
Yeah, and some of the signs, by the way, the reason as to why so many people are able to overlook them is because I've been talking a lot about distractions of recent on other shows, and I was talking about the distractions being sweet. So if the distraction came and it was not a nice thing, it was not giving you comfort, it was not giving you a stimulation, you would run away from it. If distraction came labeled as bad and negative, and everyone will be running away from it. But the reason as to why we get distracted is distraction comes in form of things that give us relief and hope.
Kakati,
and yeah,
there's something interesting that usually happens with couples, and this I've seen both male, female. A lady brags and says, guys, I've told you before that I've been raised in a family of 5 girls.
Yep.
Comes and says, owange mumanyi. Mumanyi wenjo muterereza. Manyi yanyize, zavuddeko, yeekyaye, amasimu gange tajja gakwata, message tajja ziddamu. Naye manyi wenjo muterereza. Those are the distractions. And sometimes it's very good sex. Sometimes
bulabo
buntuntu, you know. So like
oba mumanyi ebigambo byayagala okuwulira.
That's one of them.
Agenda kubimugamba oli yeerabire buli kimu kifuumuke.
So one of them, I was curious and asked a certain lady, so what are you planning to do? You know, we've not been that intimate for a while. I'll just plan on omukwasa obulungi and I'll give him very good sex and he'll forget everything. You realize that it's a distraction.
It's a distraction.
Then, side of men, one said, I'm just going to give a trip.
To Dubai. To where?
3-4 days.
And I know, because...
So, these distractions, like... cover up,
they are bandages.
Yes, the real thing, the pain,
the rotting wound.
Underneath, you're dying, but there's something nice to soothe it, but not to heal it.
And they start in the relationship.
So you go for this vacation and you are everything. You go on this holiday and you are everything. He's praising you, he's showing you the love, he's buying you gifts, he's doing all these things, but the real issue was not handled. Those are the kind of couples you find 10 years down the road, they're dealing with something that happened while they were still dating. And you're like, guys, I thought by the time you got married, you had gotten over this. Oyo musajja gwolaba, when that happened, took me for a trip. Nangulire motoka.
He cried tears and I forgot about it.
And we
opened
never
a new
handled
chapter.
it.
So they're always opening new chapters. Forgiving the past, forgetting.
You know, an issue, when an issue is not handled, or when you don't find proper closure on an issue, there are chances it will resurface,
of course,
at the least expected time.
Course.
You know, when it resurfaces, you're breastfeeding. And you're like, I thought you and so
had stopped seeing each other.
What does this message mean? And all of a sudden, obusungu ne budda.
Nojjukira byonna.
So let's talk about the narcissistic.
The narcissistic. Before we even talk about the narcissistic, something while you were speaking that I thought about, narcissists have targets. Now, people never think that, or they never open their minds to think that people target certain people, certain kinds of people. A narcissistic, waliwebuuzizaako, why a narcissistic or narcissists do not fall in love with certain types of people.
Yeah, I've thought about that. But if I'm controlling, I don't want someone controlling.
Exactly. So they want generous.
And I can be able to tell okay, they can censor.
No, they can't.
They can censor and they can antenna. In one room, in 1 minute, I will know.
Now, a narcissist.
That I will know that she's controlling.
Yeah.
So simala na biseera. Even when everyone says, but you negundi mwegwana.
I know.
Because I know.
I don't want to fight that battle.
Let me tell you, your weakness it's not just loud. By the time someone else can be able to tell that you
in less
have
than
that
a minute.
weakness, how about you who has it?
Yeah.
So when you're in a room and recently I was with my friend somewhere, and I asked a particular lady, a very influential lady, why are you not married? And said, you know, the yappy ass and the go-getters and us the alpha females, bitu sobako. So every man that I get keeps saying I'm controlling. I'm narcissistic. I'm what? So bikomao. So banza demo abana. So I'm single. And the way she said it, it's like she's settled for that. She's like, I don't think I can find a man who can love me for who I am.
Yeah. So a narcissist
I intimidate
does not
them
thrive
because
there.
I'm a go-getter. I make my money. I can take care of me. I can drive the car that I want. I can find the job that I want. I can knock at any door, any office, introduce myself, my confidence, self-esteem. So they just look at me and be like, bye. Nenga with all this beauty, negamba nkugambye buno bulungi bwo like abwafuka kisirani. Yeah, because I had to fend for myself. I had to fight for myself. In my early days, this was a conversation. In my early days, a naive young girl, I fell in love and I was used. But that school did not leave me the same.
No,
when I graduated from that school,
she never went back. She never. So you see that they have targets.
They do.
They are highly discerning and very intelligent to read and to know where to put their eggs and where not to put their eggs.
Have you been in a counseling session with a narcissistic person? There was one, I remember, I don't know whether you remember it. There was one where this is a couple. The lady pays for the session, brings the husband. The lady had 1,001 things to say, to complain about. In that meeting, tables turned on the lady, and she was like, I'm speechless. I don't even know.
So you guys believe him?
Now, wait.
This is what he does every time. I felt so sorry.
And then the guy, natakosa bigambo bingi. That's what, I mean, they're very intelligent, knows which button to press.
They calculate everything. Like
so
it is
what
calculated.
really helped this lady in that session is we understand narcissistic people.
Yeah.
So we started asking questions that started to bring out the real narcissistic him. And his real chisrungu nechuvayo nga uli agala kuba muntu. Ati mumulabye yoyo mwenyini kala zitandise okuvayo omulabye bwanvumye omulabye katubagenda mbana abalala ba counselors tubadde tugenda they would never know munyambi omulabye. So it's interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yes. But they're very intelligent.
Very intelligent. No, yesterday I was talking to someone and I was telling them, do you see how these movies that we watch, that sci-fi movies, or even with the latest technology for years to come, where someone can have a lens and they can read, and everything is calculated, and so they know exactly what their moves are. A narcissistic person is a person that can read, just like you said, read the room and scan it and know who they are going to pick up on. And they will want someone whose confidence is not too high. They will want someone who is so generous, and someone, by the way, some of them are very hardworking, because they don't want people who are not hardworking. They want people who are hardworking but with low confidence. Not hardworking with high confidence.
The word is they're brilliant people.
Yeah.
They want to be felt in that room, but they know the right people to use for them to achieve what they want.
Exactly. To manipulate.
They are target. Like, even if he gets into a company, he will know his way up there. And
the weak link. He will know that if I step here, I connect here, and this is where I'm going to. Yeah. And he will go through everything, and it will be as planned. They never lose. So now, if you get to know that there is something called a target, and you get to know that you are a target, then that means you can be more vigilant and understand, for example, the phase of love bombing, when someone comes to you and in just meeting you one day, they scanned the room, they knew you were a perfect match, and when they hug you and they're leaving you, they're like, I have never met a woman like you. They are just meeting you that day. But because they read and know that you love to hear these things, you've not been seen, you've not been heard, you have the thirst for the love. When they come in, they come so fast with the love that you will have even if you were to have second thoughts, you will not have second thoughts. You will miss them, you will love them, you will want them. So now they are hooking you emotionally, so you never think twice about looking away.
One thing that I like about the example you just used is when they get into a room, they scan the place.
Yeah.
So they will know everyone's strengths and weaknesses in that room.
Yeah.
And then when they are picking on a person, they're picking on a person who will help them achieve what they want to achieve. Mm-hmm. So they know exactly how to get you. And in most cases, they know your weak links. So they have studied you, they know who you are, and they know the right words to use and how to get you.
Exactly.
Guess what's interesting, Hilda, on the flip side? Usually, when they go for this girl with low self-esteem, she's the only one who has never received that kind of compliment.
I know.
She's never received
The
that
love.
kind of affirmation. She's never received
Never
that
been recognized.
Yes. So she's like, has God just answered my prayer?
Yeah, all of a sudden.
Has God just answered my prayer? This looks like answered prayer.
And they do it
The
with
only question they
confidence.
never ask themselves is, why
Too soon.
of all these people has he chosen me? And in most cases, as I said, these are very brilliant people. They are go-getters and they are achievers. So usually you look at this person and you look at the girl, as far as the east is from the west, so is other two.
Yeah.
And the girl receives that as a signal of maybe.
Of personal validation.
Maybe.
I deserve this.
So they give their all.
150%. Yeah. 150%. They stay on their phones waiting for calls. They stay on their phones waiting for messages. And these people know exactly what to say.
And then when a narcissistic knows what to gain, they'll not just end up dating you. Because, by the way, there's a difference between a narcissistic person and a player.
Exactly.
Okay? Now, you can be both. But most narcissistic people,
they go all the way.
He will even marry you.
They go all the way.
Take you to his home.
You give birth to children. A player will
because
be
a
hit
player
and
will,
run.
yes,
Yeah.
what is interested is a few things, and after that you're boring and you move on.
And there's a way their bad manners display so quickly because they are not love bombing. But with a narcissist, the way they will shower you with love and excessive compliments and even gifts. I know of someone who was love bombed before me while I was seeing. Yeah? And this person would send shoes. The person is out of the country. But the person will send the exact shoe size and flowers. And he would make sure that everyone in that office, everyone in that office has to know that flowers were delivered because they would be huge like this. There was a standing order at the florist to deliver flowers every single week. She would get flowers and she would get shoes and shoes that were expensive.
But you remember there's a time I wanted to buy you flowers and said, give me chicken.
I know. Why would I need flowers? Why would I need flowers? My friend, buy me chocolates, buy me chicken.
You asked for chicken.
Yeah, let me eat, please. Flowers are not edible. And I meant it, and I still stand by it. Yeah. But as in, I used to watch, and in my heart of hearts, I knew where it was going to end. Yep. But you know, when a person is being love bombed, you're the enemy. You cannot tell them the truth. You cannot. Toyagaliza stand on the sidelines olabika tebakwagalanga kukutuuka bwe bati. You know, yo gamba cha abantu sibangu abantu mubalabiraawo naye sebo balina ennugu. So I stood on the sidelines and knowing where the story was going to end. Let me tell you, the story ended in a very bad way. in a very bad way. So, and yet this person had done everything to make sure that, it all works out. So if you are the person that someone tells you the best thing that has ever happened to me and it is too soon, there is something called friendship and graduating into a relationship, but here there is no friendship at all. It was love and and over the moon in the first instance. But again, you will see very small things coming through, like manipulation. If they want to manipulate you to get a certain thing, to get a certain deal, they will tell you what you want to hear so that they can be able. So the love bombing, I think people should be able to be very vigilant. You can tell that someone, have this thing of, isn't this too soon?
Yep.
And they will use statements that are too catchy that it will ring in your mind over and over again. And it will make you feel good, like you are the best thing that has ever happened in the world.
So I sometimes, Bambi, feel sorry because, like the example I gave, if you've been on that road, you're praying, you've been fasting, waiting upon God. I know so many people have their resolutions of getting married this year.
Yeah.
And you've gone through January, 30 days of fasting. And all of a sudden, a miracle is happening around Valentine's, the love month of Feb, and someone shows up like that one, is giving you these flowers, is taking you for movie dates, is taking you for ice cream, is taking you for coffee
showing
dates.
You to everyone in the first week of knowing you.
Bambi.
There's a way their life goes on a standstill. At what
point is love bombing? At what point do you get the senses? Do you get...
No.
Do you get so sober?
Do you know what happens? They never let you get sober. They will carry you on cloud nine.
I'm trying to be real at this point. Until at what point does this girl get to a place of as in... Does it happen to guys, by the way? I think it happens to guys. Does it?
It does, but it's 2 out of 100.
Yeah,
because remember, it's men that usually go
do
kulumba. Yeah. So it's very rare.
These days,
but the women are very cunning. No, they do it in a subtle way.
The only thing now, like the example I gave of this woman, she's a go-getter, she has made her money, blah blah, and she says every time I get into a room, I intimidate men. No one gets close to me. No one can even try. No one even dares. Why? Because I intimidate them. But deep inside, I'm lonely. I need a man. So probably she can also do the same.
No, they do. They do. Lwakuba, it's more evident in older women versus young men.
Yeah. So
it's more evident
look for a young guy.
They would look for a younger man because they're looking for someone they can manipulate, who can become a supply to them, a constant supply, validation. But they have no, they don't need genuine connection. Yeah.
Serve this purpose and this purpose,
exactly.
And I'll call you when I need you.
I'll manipulate you. I'll do what, but don't leave me.
You need a car.
Stay
I have
there.
a car. Drive any car that you want.
Now, for them, it is more visible in the older women, younger women kind of scenario, but it's more evident in the men because culturally, I think it's a man that goes to tell a woman. So it's easy for the love bombing to happen that way between a man and a woman. But what that phase does is it hooks you in. It creates, you remember this scenario that you usually talk about where the expectations are formulated. Now, just imagine your expectations are formulated in a love bombing season.
Yeah. And that's what happens.
You get it.
Because every action calls for expectations.
Exactly.
Every calls for expectation. You want like a fairy tale of some sort.
They're pulling you a chair. They're giving you their jacket.
You think I've started on this.
They're opening the door for you. Chivalry is very good, and it's happening in traditional relationships and marriages, and in good relationships and marriages. However, when someone is doing it for manipulation's sake, they do it at the very start, and it never goes beyond a certain stage. So for those that are saying, oh, my husband opens my door, oh, my husband did, oh, my wife does this, as in that is love that has been tested. But when it is formulating, this is where the love bombing happens, so that they can hook you in so that you never think twice. Now, this is what happens when they follow with seasons of manipulation and bad actions. you have already been love bombed and you have been programmed to long and want that love and hope for that love. So now you keep hoping that that person will come back.
And keep doing that.
And keep doing that. So you extend more grace, you become more tolerant because you know there is a good inside of him. And the statement that they usually use in the counseling rooms is, I know deep down he's a good person. But what made them say that statement is the love bombing season. They have expectations that their Prince Charming will come back. And guess what? They have those expectations for 20 years. They give birth to children. They go up to campus. That is why women at 55 will come to me and tell me, I hoped for change, but change will never come.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting out of this marriage at 55. When you ask them, didn't you see this? Come back, I saw it, but deep down I know he's a good person. The one that I dated and the one that I'm married to are totally two different people.
Wow, how sad.
So love bombing,
Very sad.
every phase and every sign has an intention. So they never do anything that is not calculated. Every phase.
So at the point when you sense the love bombing, what do you do?
The only thing how you can sense
you
actually
withdraw a bit. What happens?
Yeah, how you can sense the love bombing is be intentional to have people in your life.
Hilda, the toughest part about narcissistic people is they already know what they want. They have already calculated.
Yeah.
I want a woman at home to give birth to my children, stay home, take care of my children, while I do everything that I want to do without her interference. Yeah. That's why I left that go-getter. That's
who proved
why,
to be understanding and more intelligent.
That's why I left them for you. So never try to be them.
Exactly.
So they are long-term. My problem
of course,
is,
they're very long-term.
My problem is, at what point does this girl get a sense that I'm being used?
Now, if you are very...
Because Chiruma,
Chiruma.
As I said, I've been believing God. Seems like God has answered a prayer. Well, it started with love bombing. Now, like we're talking about it, maybe someone is getting some sense of a zine.
Yeah,
I remember how my thing started and how it ended. Oh, this was love bombing. Yeah. So at what point does this woman get a bit of wisdom to pull back or not to allow to be used? Does that happen during... Because there's some words I used earlier. I said, the real you will never hide. The only thing that when it seeks to come out, it comes out in small and managed portions. Managed is the word, mostly for a narcissistic person. They come out in small and managed. Yeah. So this one thing that's for sure. Once on a date, there are some conversations that will happen that will go this direction. I don't think I want you to continue doing that job. It's more expensive for you to be doing that job than if staying home. I have to pay for your fuel or Uber every day. They're giving you little money. What's the point? Why can't you stay home? I can give you that money.
So do you see that they sneak in?
Now, the moment you try to address that as an issue, the real him will
come out. But again, you have to be confident enough.
He will use strong language.
To even address.
He will use strong language to silence you. Just to emphasize his point. There was a certain lady. Theirs was about, like, I get into your life, marry you, but when I have some children. So at the point of marriage, what he wanted was to just have one child with this woman. But this woman was freshly into this marriage. It was her first marriage. And she wanted at least a minimum of 2. But she would have wanted 4 if necessary, if possible. But then she understood that my husband was previously married and had children from that marriage. So I understand when he says we can't have more than 2. But then into the marriage, things change. He wants, and the woman forced her way and had a second child, and up to now she's still paying for the second child.
The repercussions, yeah. But again, she was bold enough to stand, even when some of them are bold enough to do one thing and not to do another.
So what I'm saying is, when you counter a narcissist,
they will come out.
Their real
reaction
will come, and it will not lie. The only thing is not this, their long term. So they can choose to put you to a very heavy test that they know and know probably will never pass. Because with this lady, she failed to pass the test at the point of wetumiikiriza n'ozaala togenda kuddamu kukola genda kutula wakola birireshi.
And sometimes they will never say
now, what she
that.
needed was to counter that, but she was like,
what if I lose my marriage? Some of them never want to lose the marriage.
Exactly.
The love bombing is too much, and
but you get my point. You get my point.
I do.
In conversations, the real narcissist comes out. You must be so keen
to see
and
that.
have the spirit of discernment to tell when the real them is coming out. Now, it's at that point that you do not play into their narcissism. It's at that point where you have to stand up for yourself. When they realize that you want to stand up for themselves, bachita, in most cases, but you. That's why some people have escaped. And a narcissist is like, I didn't expect so and so to be this. Have you had men make those statements?
Yes.
You've had men make those
I
statements?
have.
I thought nali nfunye omuntu ategeera to mean
yakola byayagala
asobola okukola byenjagala
nga tabuuzizza.
naye obaani amwogerera obaani amulabula obaani. So you realize it's because this woman
is doing something contrary.
Was able to sense that this is control, this is manipulation, and I'll stand up for myself. So at the point when she refused one thing, refused the second thing, and stood for those two things, the guy was like, I don't think I can. Chikome.
Narcissism. I believe it's a spirit as well. That's why prayer is very crucial. I've seen some people that have come to me complaining about one thing, but you realize they're being love bombed. Yeah. And you tell them that, you know what, be very honest with God in your place of prayer.
Yeah.
And tell him that if this is not for me, find a way of sabotaging it. Find a way. If this is not, do not pray claiming.
Very
because some people very courageous prayers. Yeah. Some people pray claiming. Yeah. I pray that he sees only me. I pray that he do because you want that love. But again, you should be able to be open-minded to say, you know what, however much this is good, if it is not for me, if it is something that will have pain, let it die. And let me tell you, there is a way God can make your heart cold. And God can make the other person, before you know it, something has happened. You don't know why the separation happened, but it just happened. So the discernment and prayer, and also narcissists will always seek to separate you from anyone that can help you. If you have a close friend that has kajanja, that will be the first one off the list. Because then they don't want anyone that speaks into your life that will make them see what is being done.
That's true.
So if you see anyone that is trying to cut you from your family as well, you want to go to your home, that is when they will come up with the perfect date. No, let's go for a picnic instead, you know. But my sister, I've been seeing my sister every Sunday. They will put something every Sunday, an activity that you do, the two of you, so that culture or tradition is broken. So your sister is like, but we no longer have time. And for you, you're like, you're up in the cloud. You don't want to know why, because he's occupying all your time just to make sure that he surrounds you. No one should ever come through that circle to be able to warn you.
Control.
Yeah, control. So if you ever see someone that is doing that, and some of the things that actually pierce through is lack of empathy. Sometimes you can tell him, I lost a loved one and I am going to bury, and he will say, but is that so important? Because it's important, so nothing else is important.
And that's a control.
So, and that is a control. So when you see such things coming up and you're like, hey, omuntu ayakuzibwa mu bantu. When I tell you I lost a grandmother eyankuza, you should have handled it better. You should have said, let me drive you, let's go and bury. But if you say, I mean, kakati, it's just going to be time wasting. Mugenda, why? I really missed you. I really wanted to see you. So they are more important than what you were supposed to do. And all of a sudden, so the lack of empathy is something that you should be able to look for when you're looking for red flags. And
you know what happens is if you listen to a private conversation going on between that girl
and that man,
no, and her friends, she'll be saying, you can't believe it, the way Tim loves me.
I
was even going for Barry and he said he's missing me.
I know. Oh God.
I don't think I can go.
I even feel like putting my hands on the head.
I don't think I can go. Let me stay. And then you, the friend who's seeing something weird. Wamugambye ogenda kulaba mama mulwadde nti. And at that point nagamba nti, how can he live without you? He had planned that you go for a
when
movie
you say
night.
it sounds so stupid.
He had planned a movie night.
I know.
And you couldn't go to see mom nga mulwadde. Okay, okay. Omugezi awakomaawo.
I know kubanga oteekeyo ki. Awali abaagalana. Omukwano gubali mu kyenda. Gw'otandika okusinikinga ebigambo. Kati love bombing. Kati bo bagusomanga mukwano.
So sad.
So
that's a very serious point.
The lack of empathy.
Yes. Yeah. And in doing so,
and sometimes by the way,
abantu bomanyi nti ba mugaso gy'oli. Very important people. And as I said, they're the kind that are very intelligent. It gets into a room, can scan a room and know who the threat is, who the weak link is, they will know. So even through your friends, it's not just getting to know about your friends, but it's scanning to see which friend can we keep and go to temayo. Because they don't want you to be in the company of people who are able to collaborate, people who can speak sense into you. They would rather that you be in a group, either isolated, fully isolated, or the people that you are with are not the people that can speak wisdom into you. So when you belong to groups, social groups, for example, accelerated mentorship program, what are you doing there? Who said that there is anyone that is perfect? Who said that in this world?
What is that woman telling you?
If you belong to a marriage association gundi agamba nti kakati mugenda n'okwerimba bajja, they show one thing and do another thing. Kale mbulira about Peter, nkubulira 10 things that you don't know about
and
Peter.
They know that you usually have something to
and
say.
And you're like, come on. Agamba, no, I'm not comfortable seeing you with them. I'm not. Because I don't think you're in the right maybe if I find a group, I'll let you know which group you can belong to. But that group, I don't think I like it.
What if you have a business partner? Business partner. Let me tell you. And there's a way they will speak calmly.
In most cases, because they're very intelligent, they know when to make their point. That's the example I used when they go to a counseling session. Because they know when to speak and they know how to manage their emotions and they know how to bring out their point and they know how to cover it up.
And it's so natural. They are not forcing it.
So if you find a weak counselor or therapist, will not be able to tell that. In most cases, that's why most people have gone families. And you know, in most cases, this person, on top of okwawula n'abantu bo, do you know that asigala nga ali in touch nabo?
Of course.
They know what to speak, when to say it, and how to say it. So you realize that while he's cutting you off your mother, he has sent your mother some 100,000.
I know.
Bangambi oli mulwadde.
The mother has to be on his side.
Just
in case, because they anticipate. There's someone who asked me, I think it was yesterday, that are these people ever caught up with karma? Like their own, and I was like, you know what? It's the greatest fear. They work all their lives to avoid, because they usually know where it's going to end. They know no human being can tolerate that nonsense up to forever.
Yeah.
That is why they will work 24/7 to make sure they manipulate you, they kill your self-esteem, because they fear what is coming.
Yeah.
It is only a narcissist who knows I am going to die and they are going to bury me and they are going to cover me with soil, and they fear that death. So now they work 24/7 to make sure that death never happens. That's why they will have that flying monkeys. We call them flying monkeys.
Yep.
They will have people always tormenting you, even asking you. They are separate with them. They will send 100 people to come and give you different versions of information. Abamu, they are blaming you, and you're like, now who should I listen to?
What
who
do
should
I
I
do?
listen to?
Yeah.
So that means they have gone around you, and they know, when she does this, I will pull off this. When she does this, I will pull off this. But let me tell you, the end of a narcissist is one. Alone on the deathbed with no one giving them milk or giving them.
In one of the sessions, I want us to specifically talk about narcissists, because one of their weaknesses is they never conquer with the fact that they are narcissists, even when they know they are.
No, a person who agrees that they are narcissistic, they are never.
In most cases, they speak to themselves to justify what they are doing. Okay, this is what a narcissist does. Gets into a room, convinces himself about the good in what they are going to do, believes it, and executes it.
No, that's what I was waiting for. They believe in their own lies.
And
they indoctrinate themselves.
Execute it. It's just like a politician who says, 5 people to die to save 1,000 is okay. He's taken time to know, number one, it's human life that I'm taking. But for my selfish gains and needs, I will take that life. However, I'm going to convince myself to believe that I am saving the village. Truth is, he's saving his empire. He's saving his seat as his political seat. He's not killing because he loves you, there are 1,000 people. No, if he had a chance to kill another one from you, 1,000, he will kill.
While a normal person
and he will kill another, and he will kill another, because the moment you disagree with him and become a threat to his throne, he will come for you. He will finish you. Wow. So he convinces himself in his secret place that the only way I can be able to justify what I'm doing, I'm going to tell them I'm doing it for you. Convince themselves, believe in their own lie, and execute it. 5 dying for 1,000 is fair. It does sound like, oh, right, it is fair. And it's until there's a critical eye that says human life is human life.
I know.
Do we need to take these 5?
To what end?
And
they will punch holes in it.
So even if it's in a workplace, some of you have been sacrificed for doing nothing. But it's like for the image of this company. You realize he uses the word image of the company. It sounds so good. It's not the image of the company. He knows that if he keeps you on the job, there are chances you will take his job.
Yeah.
But now he has become the image of the what?
Of the company. Because they have to convince themselves. It has to be for greater good.
So sad.
And it must sound believable before everyone else.
So you will sit
they are liars, but they believe in their lies.
You will sit meetings and tell them, for us to be able to keep Hilda in this place, these are the implications. 1, 2, 3. Until he gets all of you to believe in his own lie.
That Hilda is the enemy.
And he will execute it. And somehow, it's until now it is that one of the people on the table being executed next. What if this man is just
he started, this is how he has been functioning.
What if Hilda was just a threat? Because ever since I stood up to him on this particular issue, he's treating me the way he was treating Hilda. What if Muzegwe? So how many people have the discernment and the wisdom to be able to tell?
To even speak
Very
up.
few.
Very few.
Very few.
Very few. You can barely count them. Even when they discern it, because they want to protect their positions, they never say it.
They never say it.
So you realize that this is a leprosy that is eating up, so many homes, so many even workplaces, because narcissistic relationships exist at places of work. Toxic relationships exist actually actually, it's even bad. It's bad in romance. It's very hurtful. But in places of work, organizations and companies, it is tough what people go through, especially with narcissistic leaders. And when they have any position of power, if they have any money on them, they become animals, total animals, and beasts. But there is something that is so painful when you find a narcissist who is poor. A poor narcissist.
I've never dug into that. I would be interested in listening.
No, a poor narcissist becomes a parasite. Yeah? A parasite, but that never kweguya or love you or do anything. They still want to maintain their ego and manipulation and lies while they are parasites. You remember the one that I told you during COVID, the one who told his own mother, that
So let me understand. You can't provide for your family.
You can't provide for your family.
But at the same time, you won't take the credit for it.
Exactly.
Okay. So you're a parasite.
Now, those are actually more than the ones that have money.
It's so sad because you look like a fool as a woman to say, I'm the one who's paying rent.
No, they are the ones, women in this town. 89% or 90% of those that are in narcissistic relationships are in relationships with parasites. But they have to maintain an image out here, a totally different image. So whatever small money he has, he will have a nice perfume, he will dress well, he will even drive a good car. But that car, chances are the woman bought it and the woman fuels it and he's the one driving it. She's paying rent, she's doing the medical bills, she's taking herself to hospital to give birth
and paying for her
for her own maternity bills. But the man is getting the
credit.
But he will beat her, he will insult her, he will manipulate her, he will do everything a narcissist does. And this woman will still tolerate and expect him to change.
No, you think about it. The moment you try to come out as a woman, you look like a fool.
Of course.
Because everyone will be like, Nae Hilda.
Abakazi bagalachi.
By the way, and you know the most hurting, sometimes it's your real mother who's like, Hilda. Choyogera sikituufu omwami wojuzi yampereza n'emitwalo 2.
They do.
Ongamba alemereddwa ogula emmere awakana yasobola okumpereza emitwalo 2. Mwana wange. Yogera sibi. You know you can look at fool, you're like, he sent you what? Yakweleza emitwalo meka? 2, and then you're like, oh, you go lava. The last time I saw money is 10 years ago. So you last month let
me tell you, women are going to watch. They're going to watch this podcast, and some of them will be laughing, and they will be like, you know what? At least there's someone who understands us.
Oh,
and that is why when they come to me, I tell them nyweze nsawo.
Kolaje? Kati gwatabulira ebintu.
Nyweze nsawo.
Gwatabulira ebintu.
It's okay. I have been hated in this country, and I will not stop being hated because their lives matter.
I know.
Their children, their happiness.
Now, I want to help. Okay, I don't know. But I keep thinking, I don't just want to talk about narcissists. Is there help for a narcissist? Is it possible that a narcissist can be helped? Is it possible that they can even
want to be helped?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Auntie, the biggest help, do you know what I usually tell them? For you, because women speak up more on these issues than men. Yeah, and we have said that because of culture and everything, men actually are the ones that initiate most of the times. So most of the times, if you want to help them, you've discovered that a man is a narcissist and he's torturing this woman. When you empower the woman to be able to decide her own fate and she has confidence to be able to move on with her life, that is the greatest wake-up call a narcissist can ever have. Because when a narcissist gets the wake-up call of this woman now can run her own life and she can do her own things, then he's like, okay, I'm left in space. Now I don't know what to do next. I don't know where to go. And the woman that I thought I'm going to stay with for the rest of my life is clearly not with me. Yeah. So it becomes a scenario where someone has gone into shock. But the problem is they get dangerous. No. When the woman tries to run away, they get dangerous because they want to pursue to the point of killing, to the point of as in kamere kange, you should not be able to escape. So most of them, they know they need the help, but where they need the help is when their supply goes. And they know that by the reason as to why they will chase that supply so much is because they know there is no any other one is going. There is no any other one who is going to tolerate this this foolery.
So
and
you have to, yes.
So you have to come back because you're my punching bag.
Yeah.
And the punching bag is saying, no, I am no longer a punching bag.
I'm tired.
Now,
I'm leaving that place.
Exactly. Wow. So when they start the life of misery, when they get older, by the way, they reflect when they are much older. When they need help, and now there is no help.
So the men,
I mean, we've not talked
we've
about...
talked more about men, and I feel like it's more of men that are in that space, though there are some women that are, but I'm persuaded to think if you can get to a place where you think you need the help, don't shy away from seeking help. You can always figure out something. Inspire Men Initiative are men on the group that are trying to be better men, that are working hard, working in collaboration, pushing each other, believing in each other, and acquiring property. This year, 2025, come the end of this year, we're buying 100 acres of land. I was privileged yesterday to go with Oscar to see the land. Very beautiful land that we want to buy. I call upon you men. At only 10 million, you'll have an acre of land. I've already started on the negotiations, and this project started sometime last year around, I think, July. The year is ending, and we've so far, from men, we've so far raised, about 200 million, and we're still raising more money. We believe that every man at least deserves to have a property. And the beautiful thing about it is it's titled land and in your name. So when we buy, we give you a title in your name, and you're free to use your land as you wish. So I'm encouraging you, please, to get in touch. I think the numbers that scrolls on the screen. Can get in touch with Hilda, get in touch with me, and we see how we can help you be part of Inspire Men Initiative.
Okay, from us to you is bless you.